Good afternoon, everyone. How are you so far? Yes, so what if agency were modeled rather than taught? What kind of students would we be producing through our school systems? A few years ago, I met a teacher. I'll call her Grace. She was a grade 3 teacher, and she told me something that has stayed with me since then. She said, I teach confidence to my learners every day, but I am never trusted to lead. You see, Grace was responsible for nurturing agency in her learners. She was responsible for helping them find their voice, collaborate, manage their emotions. But the system in which Grace operated, within that very system, decisions were centralized. Data was collected for reporting and accountability purposes only. And in a number of cases, policies that Grace used arrived when they were fully formed. She was expected to nurture agency without experiencing it herself. And that's when I started grappling with this question. How do we expect students to be holistic, empowered learners when the ecosystem around them do not model those same qualities? Across East Africa, we have been working to strengthen holistic student outcomes. Literacy, numeracy, yes, but also self-awareness, collaboration, cooperation, resilience, belonging. And over again, we encountered similar same challenges across jurisdictions, across systems. There were technical barriers to achieving holistic outcomes. But more than the technical barriers, relational barriers weighed heavier. Organizations that were working in the ecosystem competed with each other more than collaborating. Everyone fought to be seen and felt more than thinking of how can we work together. Leadership was concentrated in a few hands, and data was guarded heavily. So much so that even very, very strong programs that you could see and say this is a strong program, it felt fragile because the ecosystem itself didn't appear strong enough to sustain those programs. So we tried something different through the Alive Collective. Instead of coming with solutions, we sat down to co-create the problem and the solution. Instead of one organization holding the power, we distributed leadership. Instead of using data for accountability alone, we used it for learning. And instead of competing for attention and for resources and for credit, we aligned around shared results. And that was to ensure that every child is learning and thriving. That is the main thing driving all of us. And slowly something shifted. Teachers felt seen in the classrooms. Junior leaders stepped up for higher responsibilities in the ecosystem. Organizations strengthened their systems, and trust was deepened. And the most powerful outcome from 2020 to date has not been frameworks. We have so many frameworks that we've developed. We have so many tools we've developed. But it was agency. They were not tools, they were not frameworks. Those are there, but agency was the greatest outcome that we can stand and be happy about, and across the system. And that's when it became clear. Holistic education is not just about what happens in the classroom. It's about whether the adults in the ecosystem are modeling the future we claim to want. Because students are watching. This whole week we've had this. They're watching. And holistic outcomes are not produced by isolated cases of excellence. Each one of us is doing very great work. But they are shaped by multiple hands working together in trust, sharing power, and learning together. And so if we want to shape a better future, one in which we'll be proud, we have to start by building systems that show how that is built. Because in the end, the students will not inherit what we teach, but they will inherit how we model what we teach. Thank you so much.